What's up guys, this is Graffiti Tutorials and today I'm going to do a little review on this bad boy. This is a stencil cap, for those of you who've never heard of them. It's a Tiny Pink Stencil Cap to be precise. So as you can see, I've already used it quite a few times. It's really dirty, it don't stay pink. So this is the box that it comes in. This is a bit of a state as well because I've had it a month or two. So Tiny Pink Stencil Cap. So basically you stick this on the front of your can, just like that, and you can spray through this little hole here right at the front, okay, and you can get a really nice thin line. So I wouldn't really use this for graffiti pieces, but I use it more for artwork with a lot of detail, okay. So I'm going to show you an example of the sort of thing I paint with it in a minute, and I'm just going to give you a few tips on it as well. So tip number one is when you're using it, you've got to watch out up here. It starts getting really clogged up with spray paint. It's got a reservoir in the front, so the paint goes there and it drips down, and there's a little gap here, okay, and then it's got a reservoir down here and it fills up with paint, so you have to keep pouring it out, and it gets really clogged up around this area, and if it gets clogged around that hole and then you spray through it, it sprays out, it like spits out a load of drips all over your work, so you don't want that happening. And so just keep that nice and clean. And then another way to stop that happening as well is use a can of paint that is more full. If you use little scraps, because I was using little scraps of paint the other day just to get rid of them, and I noticed they were a lot more like they were spitting a lot more. So make sure you keep shaking your can and try and use a can that is nice and full. Another tip for you guys is, I've just got an old t-shirt here. As you can see, what a state. This used to just be a white t-shirt, just like this used to be just a pink stencil cap. When you're painting with it, obviously you're constantly pouring it out, and you've got to watch out that it don't overflow, because it overflowed a couple of times on me the other day and it just drips all down here, all over your hand, and it's a nightmare. But when you pour it out, even if it don't overflow, you pour the paint out here, or however you want to pour it out. I just tend to pour it out down at this corner here, and it starts dripping all down here. So basically I just have this with me, or just anything to wipe it on, some old cloth or old rag or whatever, and you just pour it out and give it a wipe straight away. It just keeps you a bit cleaner and a bit more comfortable when you're trying to do some artwork. Another tip for you that I've got is get something to pour the paint in, obviously. I've just got this. This is basically, it used to be a tub of emulsion, and this is perfect for it because it can hold a load of it, and I just keep pouring the paint into it. As you can see, that's just a load of old spray paint, and it's just mangled. It's like started like melting through the plastic, I think, or something. It hasn't melted through it, but it's like made the plastic go all weird. But one thing I noticed when I was cleaning this the other day, is that the paint starts breaking the plastic down a little bit. So I was scraping the paint off and the plastic was quite soft. It started scraping off plastic with it, but it's not that bad. It's not nothing to worry about because it wasn't making any holes in it or anything, so that was fine. And I saw a video online of how to clean it, and the guy just used one of these. Now this is what you call a palette knife, and it's perfect because it's got this bend in it here, and that can go down in there in the front, and you can scrape the paint out with it. Now another thing he done was got some transparent black paint, and he just sprayed it all in the top here, okay, because it's got something in it that breaks the paint down. So he just sprayed it all in here, and then that softens the paint up, and then you can scrape it off with this, scrape it out. And then I got my old t-shirt and I was wiping it all out. And also, one thing that you get in the box with it is this little nail here. Now this is really handy because they've got it the perfect size to fit through the hole. So after you cleaned it, you just poke through the hole there, and that makes it nice and clear again for next time you use it. Another way of cleaning this as well is to use a product called Fairy Power Spray. Okay, I've never used it before, but before making this video I went and did a little bit of research, and it's basically, it can remove spray paint from plastic and stuff like that, okay? And by the looks of it, it doesn't look like it breaks down the plastic too much. because I'm sure there's probably some paint strippers out there that will strip the paint off, but it will also damage or melt the plastic or something. So just be careful what you use, and just make sure that it's suitable to use with plastic, obviously. And I'm sure there's other products out there as well for those of you who live in different countries to me or whatever, but any fairy product is pretty easy to get hold of over here in England where I live. So yeah, just find a paint stripper that you can use on plastic and you'll be fine. And also, just make sure you give it a wipe and a clean after every time you use it. Don't leave it, because it builds up in there and it's just going to become a nightmare to clean. So I just clean it every time that I use it, believe it or not. But you can only get so much of it off. I don't really care what it looks like as long as it's nice and clear in this bit and the hole is nice and clear. That is all you want to worry about. And you want to make sure in here is nice and clear as well, so that the paint can drip down into the reservoir, because if that's blocked up then it's just going to drip down the front and you're going to get messy again. And spray paint, as you probably know, it ain't easy to get off, so you don't want to be messing around doing that. Right, so I'm guessing you guys want to see this thing in action, so I'll just do a couple of lines for you on this piece of paper that I've got here. So yeah, you want to make sure that the cap is obviously lined up perfectly with that hole, because if it ain't then it can spray out a bit weird and you get overspray and stuff. So you want to make sure it's perfectly lined up, okay? And you only want to use a skinny cap with this, because a fat cap is it's too high pressure, so it's just going to blast through it. And preferably you want to use like a nice low pressure paint as well, like Montana Gold or 94 or something like that, or there's that Cobra make now. I've never used it, but they do a low pressure version and stuff like that. So whatever you use, just make sure it's nice low pressure in that. So I'll do a few lines for you. So as you can see, it don't come out too solid, but you can get some nice lines of it. You see there's a bit of overspray here as well, but you can play around with it, you'll get used to it. But they're pretty handy for high detailed work. Right, so here's the painting that I did with it this week. I'm really happy with it. I went to see the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 the other week, and it inspired me to paint this Baby Groot out of the film. So yeah, as you can see, you can just get a really high detail with it. You'd never be able to get this with a normal spray can. I did the background with a normal spray can, and I did the base layer, just the beige colour here. I painted them all in the beige colour first, just with normal spray paint, and the same on this little detonator thing, whatever it is. I just put a base layer down to the spray paint, and then you just use it for the fine details and that. So you can get some really fine lines with it if you just get used to using it. And as you can see, you can just get really nice detailed work. It's the same sort of thing you would get as using an airbrush. I've got an airbrush here, but I don't really use it that much, to be honest. It's a bit complicated, so this is just, it's much easier. You can change colour easy. You just click it off the can, pull it off, and then you can just stick it straight on another can. So yeah, I'd definitely recommend getting one. You can make them, and I'll do a video in the future that will show you how to make it. I think I paid about 20-25 quid for that one, so it's not too pricey. It will last quite a while, but yeah, I definitely recommend getting one if you want to get extra fine lines. So yeah, that is my review of the Tiny Pink Stencil Cap and a few tips for you. I'd say the only bad thing about it is the fact that you just waste loads and loads of paint, but if you want to sacrifice that for extra thin lines and be able to get really decent detail, then go ahead and get one. So if you like this video, then make sure you click like, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and reviews to come up in the future. If there's anything you would like me to review or do a tutorial on, then let us know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.
Don't push this button, because that will set off the bomb immediately and we'll all be dead. Now repeat back what I just said.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone. Try again.
I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.